Jeez.
That sort of worked out. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. We're rocking and rolling today. We got Euro 2024, a special breakdown for all of the fans and guys and girls that are ready to get that cash. We got the boys together, and it's a special collab. We got our guy Lou in the house. We got MMA Jeff. We got Subhuman Gaucho. We got Dan from Down Under. And everyone's ready to talk to you guys about how we're getting paid on the big four quarters coming up in Euro 2024 Championship Footy action today. I'm fired up for this thing here. Late nights, early mornings, but money doesn't sleep, and it always looks green. Let's start with Jeff. How are we feeling about this card, Jeff?
I'm looking forward to soccer, and I don't usually look forward to soccer, but here we are, rolling to the pitch. I'm looking forward to it, and looking to cash some tickets.
Lou, this is going to be the first time that we collab. I know we're fired up and ready to get after it. And look, I'm coming out late out of the gate, but I'm fired up to hear what you have to say. I know you've been cashing like crazy. I've been watching you over there on X and seeing the parlays, the same game pieces, the straight bets, the long shots. How you feeling about these quarters? You excited about some footy action?
I can think of no better way to honor July 4th than talking about European soccer. Me personally, that's the embodiment of America. Love these games, even the Portugal-France game, which neither teams really come out of the gate, but super interesting games. What better way to celebrate? Day drink, go watch some soccer, annoy everybody at the bar. I'm effing pumped.
Fired up. Dan, I know it's America's birthday, but you're down under there in Australia. You guys are kind of like America. How's things going down there?
It's good, mate. It's 11 p.m. here, but, you know, money doesn't sleep. I don't either, but we've got some games to go through. I'm looking forward to it. So thanks for having me on, boys. Appreciate it. But, yeah, let's fucking make some money. Let's do it.
You are a vital piece to our footy breakdowns. We're excited to have you involved with this project as well. And, of course, last but not least, he's outside enjoying this beautiful morning that is. Sub, how are you?
I'm great, man. Pumped for this weekend. Got a lot to look forward to. And what better day than America Day to talk some European football and maybe badmouth those limey redcoats from across the pond.
I would say America's undefeated, but over our long history, we've had a couple draws. We've had a couple pushes in the matchup. The judges were not favoring the home team in this case, but today's a new day. Happy July 4th to everybody. And look at this. You guys are great. We got people up in the chat watching this thing. We're going to put this out and record it so that everybody has the opportunity to go back and see where it is we're getting paid with these four games coming up. But shout out to everybody that's in that chat. Steve Gregory says, I'm here to see Lou and Gaucho feed cheeseburgers to swans.
I don't know what that's about, but it sounds like a good time.
Growing up on the water, I'll tell you, swans don't mess around. You mess around, you're going to find out. They're big. They have long wingspans. You do not want to be involved in the swan game, but maybe if you're feeding them cheeseburgers, it's a little different. Is there something to that, boys? No, it doesn't sound like it. Maybe they feed cheeseburgers to each other. Deer Slayer Ski says, happy 4th of July, boys. Euros, Copa, let's have a weekend. Absolutely, Deer Slayer Ski. It's great to see you in the house. And my guy, New Jersey Striker, in there says, let's get that bag, Mike. Sub says, at Steve Gregory, LMFAO. New Jersey says, what's up, fellas? Fernando Mendoza checking in from New York. It's good to see our guy. Fernando says, morning, my guys. Looking forward to Fernando's soccer contributions. He's a sharp footy guy as well. RVD 420 says, good morning, guys. Amsterdam, what else? What's good, fellas? And there he is. Mr. Razor Sharp Pick says, shout out to everyone. What's up, fellas? Julian Cesario, what's up, fam? Happy 4th, man. It's got to be bright and early for our guy Julian to be checking in for us out there on the West Coast. Ricky Bobby says, let's get this chat. We got the crew. Joe T says, what up? What up, boys? Ricky Bobby is looking for that cash. Wine Time Sports. Talk about being early. California time. 617, he's checking in with us. Real Deal Prime says, good morning. And Razor Sharp Pick says, I heard about a rumor. Just here to clarify, is it true. The rumors are absolutely true. Going to be a
Raisy.
monster collab for the home run derby. You guys know we're going to be getting that plus money action. Julian Cesario says, White Sox and Pirates win. Glad I tailed Pimp. Hopefully you guys tailed that early morning set number 1 action for Shang. Plus 225, never in doubt. But we are here to talk about the big tournament. It's Euro 2024 action. The crew is ready to go. We've got 4 big games we're going to talk to you guys about today. They pop off tomorrow starting at 12 p.m. Eastern. Then they roll into Saturday. We've got Spain versus Germany. We've got Portugal versus France. England versus Switzerland. And then we bring it home with the Netherlands and Turkey. Apparently, some are calling it Turkey IA. I don't know. I don't know when that happened. It happened overnight. All of a sudden.
They did it with the Czech Republic too, Mike. They went from Czech Republic to Czechia. So it's like, it's the world we live in now, unfortunately.
When I hear Czechia, I think of Chechnyan rebels, but I'm not exactly sure why that's the case. It just happens to be the deal. But we do have a big game popping off tomorrow. It will be 12 p.m. Eastern. We've got a big opportunity ahead of us talking this Spain and Germany battle. And we look back at kind of how these teams got here and what they were to accomplish. There's probably no bigger darling of the Euro 2024 matchups than Spain from get-go, from first ball being tossed out there on the grass. Everyone was talking Spain, 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 Spain. They go out there, they whoop up Georgia 4-1, unnecessarily whoop up because they were already on their way after beating Albania and Italy. They also handled Croatia. Now we go out there, we see them playing Germany. And as far as that German matchup is concerned, probably a little disappointing. Hungary, they get those guys down 2-0. Switzerland is a push, a draw, a 1-1 opportunity. And then they handle Denmark. Clearly, maybe a little bit of mediocre matchups as these two teams get going. Let's start off with MMA, Jeff. Let's talk about Spain versus Germany, Jeff. What do you think about this matchup and how do you want to get paid?
I got to say, following up on your comments there, I know you're talking the country, but there isn't a team worth a shit from Georgia. You know damn well. But I do got to say, why is your money not on Spain? Sitting here, they were at even money last night. I got to see where the line has shifted today, but Spain hasn't lost a competitive matchup to Germany in 6 straight plays. I think Spain's going to beat them with the speed on the outside. They're going to outscore them here, and I know Gaucho and I were talking about it last night, so my money's on Spain on this one. Gaucho, what do you have to say about this one?
Yeah, you got to love Spain. I do have Spain as the best team in this tournament. I think Germany is a close second. Tons of talent on both sides here. I'm going to be looking live at some both teams to score and over. The only thing that kept me off Spain has never defeated a host nation in a knockout round on their soil. And Spain, a host nation has never lost a quarterfinal. So those are 2 trends that go way back. They don't have anything to do with these teams really in particular, but that's enough to keep me off of the pre-flop. But I can't talk anybody out of Spain. They've looked great, and I do have them the best team in this tourney, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I'm definitely rolling with Spain. And as we were talking backstage prior to this, the draw is also something to look at. Pretty even 1-1 draw. Not a bad look. The line is juiced to the under, I believe. So the draw is definitely in play as well. My money's on Spain, and hope everyone follows and cashes.
Our current numbers, as we look at the board, have Spain as a plus 165 money line, slight favorite over Germany, who is plus 180. The total sitting at 2.5, but currently on DraftKings, the under is juiced at minus 130. And our guy Fernando Mendoza checking in. It's amazing to me. Here we go, footy action. It's certainly not the hockey that I'm used to, but they track shots on target versus just general shots. If you get the ball and you kick it and you miss the goal, you still get a shot. But here we go. We've got an opportunity for one shot on target at -120. Lou, it looks like that might be a spot that you want to get involved with, but talk to us about this battle.
That's a great look, too. Musiala's been the informed player for Germany. I have a tournament future on Spain, so I'm not really willing to get involved on a money line side here. I actually favor the overs. It's probably a trap. I don't care. I would ladder it. I'm not really convinced on Germany's back line. I haven't been coming into this tournament. Scotland went down a man. They gave up an own goal at the end, but Scotland's not really a threat going forward. Hungary just had a horrible form going in this tournament. They didn't do anything against Germany, but they didn't test Germany and their back line. And then Switzerland had some moments, and we'll get to them later. Switzerland definitely had some moments on Germany. They haven't really played anybody that's giving them a true test in the back line. Denmark could have scored. That was a little grieved. On the Spain side, look, if you look at their stats, they didn't concede against Italy, who looks awful. The Croatia game, it was 3-0, but that scoreline doesn't represent what Croatia was doing in the second half of that game. They had a penalty they got taken back. They look good. Spain has some vulnerabilities in the back as well. These teams are great going forward. It's a host country. It's the first game to lead off the quarters. I think they're going to come out exciting. I don't think there's going to be much of a feeling out process. And if we get a goal in the first 20 minutes, this thing could be crazy. This thing could be a 40. Yeah. So both teams to score and over is plus money, plus 140 on one book, Fanatics, that I looked at. I think there are worse plays you can make with that.
Both teams to score and over, expecting goals. That would be a hell of a way to kick off this quarterfinal spot out there. Yeah, the host nation trying to get this thing figured out, but at the same time, I like to see some goals as well here. Dan, do you think we see some scoring? How does this thing progress in your opinion?
Yeah, like I tend to sort of side with what Jeff said, actually. Like I see Spain progressing. I could see a 1-1 potential. But I can also see plenty of goals as well. And that's why this game for me is so tricky. But I just like Spain to qualify. I can get that at -112. I don't know what it is on your books. You guys might have to check that. But I just like them to qualify. You don't have to sweat that draw just in case the game does slow down a bit. But I just see this being a really physical midfield battle of a game. And it's Toni Kroos's last game. He bowed out for his club winning the Champions League final with Real Madrid. So that's just another thing to keep in mind, that it is Toni Kroos's swan song this tournament. So it's just going to be a great game to watch regardless. So I'm really looking forward to it. But I just think Spain are the better team. And I think they're going to advance into the semis.
I like it. And we've got our guy Subhuman. What do you think here? I know Jeff kind of teased it with you there, talking about some of the speed with these boys. What say you, Subhuman Gaucho?
Yeah, well, I do like Fernando's look there on Musiala. I'll probably stay off this one pre-flop. I thought about maybe sprinkling the 1-1-2-2 exactas. I do think we see goals here, but it is a, I don't know. Maybe I stack up and take the over. Maybe I just wait. This is one to watch though. Of all four games, this is going to be the one. These are the two top teams in my opinion. So I'll stay away pre-flop for the most part.
It's one of those opportunities where you see these guys and you got top scoring teams in the tournament. Germany not afraid to put the ball into the net. Talk about shots on target and how it gets done. 10 versus 9 goals. Kind of robbed us, I think, of an opportunity to see an incredible matchup. Reminiscent, speaking of America, we got USA and Team Russia in a little year called 1980 in the ice hockey Olympics out there in Lake Placid. And what did we see? Well, it wasn't the final matchup, but it's the matchup everybody remembered. And I think this Germany-Spain game is probably going to be a little bit similar. When we look at the rest of the games and we talk about the rest of this tournament, I think they're definitely taking this opportunity. And unfortunately, because of the seeding, because of the pairing, we're seeing probably the best matchup in the tournament now in these quarters. And I like what Dan had to say, though. For me, this is one of those opportunities. I know where there's a lot of trepidation as we go across the board around how these jobs are going to get done and who's going to win the game. But look, Spain's a big favorite. We saw collectively across the board that the sharps love these guys. A lot of us are holding futures on Spain. Maybe it's not the sexiest play of all, but sometimes you got to get your cash and get the hell out of there. And Spain to advance at -115 currently on DraftKings. I think that's just a no mess around, get this money. The numbers look pretty split, and you can see with that money line, it almost has a feeling that we go extras. I'll tell you, the way I will attack every single one of these games is if we get extras, we're tied at halftime. It even looks close to being extras. The way I'm going to fire away is I'm going to take the live betting both teams to win by penalties. Those are going to be some plus 10 to 1 opportunities as we advance, and we will turn that frown upside down. But for me, this is Spain to advance. I don't think Germany has the capability this year between the speed, the experience, and the set pieces that Spain has out there. They're the guys to get the job done. So, like me, some Spain to advance. Again, currently -115 on DraftKings. We got Camber Ribbons in the house. Says, have there been significant team roster changes from last year? Then the trend holds. I don't know. Does anybody want to speak to the roster changes? Have there been significant roster changes to these teams, or are they just experiencing kind of their maturity, their peak in performance?
There are a couple of German. There's a center back for Germany that's currently way out of form, Nicolas Sule. He got injured just before the Euros and actually put on a lot of weight. And I think that's affected his chances of really fitting back into that lineup. But like I was saying earlier, Germany are a team that's in flux. Like they're getting older players are retiring. They got some new blood coming up through the ranks. So, this Spanish team is just really starting to sort of come back to what they used to be, like in the 2008. Like I really see them pushing up for the next World Cup as one of the top teams to really watch in regards to, you got Argentina fighting from the other side and Brazil, who are pretty weak at the moment as well. But I just think that the flux is an advantage of the Spanish team. Like the key players for Germany going out, they're just too crucial. And Toni Kroos, he's an amazing player, but he's also 30. Was he 37?
84.
Yeah, 84. Yeah. So
It's good for 84.
Yeah. So, yeah, there has been a lot of change in that team, but I just think it's going to be a great game. So I just can't wait.
Can I add something to this as well?
Of course.
So it's not just and I completely agree that Sule is just, and he's like 9 feet tall. The guy's like a monster. But the most important thing for me on Germany is a change in style and formation. They changed to Julian Nagelsmann, who I love as a coach. Very young, but he's very offensive minded. He's done a lot of work with not a lot of talent, like Hoffenheim, Leipzig. Then he got a little more money, but this is a forward, on the front foot kind of coach. Some of these German coaches, when Manuel Neuer was in top form, Germany was could win 1-0 games. I don't think Germany's suited for that anymore. I think they have enough talent offensively with Havertz, Füllkrug coming off, Musiala, Kroos with set pieces still. But the way they're coached is so different now. Just an aggressive approach that we haven't seen from Germany since like their glory years. So it's, to Dan's point, like they've got some frailties in the back. And that's why I think they're just taking this approach of like absolute forward play. So really cool stylistic change from Germany. I mean, what they did to Scotland was criminal.
I think the only position in their back line too that's only like their spot where they're vulnerable is their left back, because that's not really locked in. They've got David Rahm's been playing there for Germany, and they've got Mittelstadt who's been coming up, but that's like their weak spot. That's just where I see it as an advantage. So yeah.
I like it. Joe T said, "What does Spain have to do to advance?" Short answer:
win.
Score more. They have to score more goals than Germany. If they do that, I like their odds.
Yeah, this is a knockout round, Joe. So no draws here. If it goes to a draw, we'll see overtime. If the overtime goes to a draw, we'll see penalty kicks. So somebody's getting sent home after this one.
I have a question for Dan, actually. Who do you favor in a shootout here?
In a shootout, it just depends what sort of substitutions they make. But I think Spain have a deeper team for that. So I'd probably favor Spain.
That's a great question. Yeah, that's a tricky one. I guess real quick here, we wrap this one up and we move to the next level here, boys. Is there any chance that Germany can go out there and pull the upset? What is their path to victory?
I think Germany's path to victory. Sorry to cut you off, Sub, but
No, go ahead.
if you look at these two teams, the one statistic that just jumps off the page to me is that in all of Germany's games so far in the Euros, on average, they've controlled 66% of the possession in games. So for me, is if they can hold the ball and keep the ball and control the game, and they just get a goal in, they'll just park the bus. They don't have to worry about getting forward. I feel that's their pathway. But also, if it goes the other way, they like playing the long ball out of defense on the counter attack. So if they are on the back foot and they're not controlling the possession, they'll be looking to make a counter attack, and they've got the fast players to do that. They've got Musiala, Wirtz, Kai Havertz. People forget he's actually been in amazing form at the end of the Premier League season. So he hasn't really sort of scored much in this tournament. I think he's only got one goal. But, that's something to keep in mind. I see that as their path.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You hit on a lot of the important points that I was going to touch on as well. This is part of the reason that I think I like corners. I think if Germany goes down early, they like to get their midfield quite a bit forward. And Spain's really deadly on the break. Jeff earlier was talking about how speedy that youth is on the outside. And so if Germany is getting everybody forward, they're probably going to generate some corners themselves, but Spain will generate some on the break as well when those guys get loose. So that's something to think about. Joe T too, he mentioned, so why wouldn't you take the plus money on the Spain money line instead of to advance? The worry about the money line is that is a money line for regulation. So if this goes to a regulation draw, you end up a loser. You take that minus 115 to advance, and that gives you the chance for them to win in overtime or penalties, which is not out of the question at all in this game.
I think across the board, when you look at the 4 games that we have on deck, if you were going to take a money line spot here, and if you're thinking about goals getting the job done, these two teams don't seem likely to park the bus and play this thing deep here. It seems like they want to run and gun and try to figure this thing out. So not a bad opportunity to think about that. But yeah, I think Sub said it right, Joe, there. We're looking at 90 minutes or regulation time versus the full smash. So big opportunity for consideration there. And then we see our guy, NJ Stryker, says both teams to score and the over 7.5 corners at plus 115.
Yeah, I like that.
Look there. Yeah.
Mike, can I add one more thing to this Germany?
Course,
how they win? And I think this plays into what Subhuman said here is the one place where I think Spain could be vulnerable is set pieces. Germany's really well drilled in that. Cruz is excellent at it. They're also a bigger team. So I think that Germany getting set pieces and Spain, like I said, this is where they've been vulnerable. Like in transition, they're okay. But these set pieces even Croatia had a lot of success. Little unlucky, but the XG was there. Expected goals was there for Croatia. I think that's one way that Spain could be vulnerable. But either way, this is just, even the market is not sure. I mean, when you see a draw at plus 210 and both money lines are right in that 180 range, like even the market is like, we're not really sure. So should be an awesome game. I
think it'll be a lot of fun. It's a great way to kick this thing off. And, it'll be that opportunity. Like I said, I just like to take the favorite. It's kind of like yesterday, some of these games where, we don't want to overcomplicate it, overthink it here. To me, it's a matter of saying, the Spain, the favorite, the sharp money, the opportunities, and you're getting them at a reasonable price. Germany isn't a dog to sleep on, though, here. And, as we talk about sleeping on dogs, look at this next game that we've got on deck in Portugal, France. This will take place Friday. This will be a 3 p.m. battle. And as we look at these games here, I'm excited here. We've got finally an opportunity where, we talk Germany and what do we think is going to happen and what is their path to victory? But Portugal and France should be a straight battle. We've got some big names in the game. Everybody knows Kylian Mbappe, what he's done out there and his ability to get the job done. We know 25 years old, 48 times in 82 national games, this guy has put the ball into the goal. He got a goal against Poland in a 1-1 draw back on June 25th. So he's certainly no shyness when it comes to getting the ball done. 6 shots, 5 on target. I still love that they keep the target versus anything. And 5 shots in a single game in a win over Belgium. Big opportunity. Going to be playing for Real Madrid in the La Liga season coming up out there in Spain. On the other side of things, of course, we've got a couple of big names everybody knows. Bernardo Silva, certainly getting the job done. Joins the national team in 2015. He's got 12 goals, 92 appearances. He plays for the EPL's Man City. 6 goals in 33 matches this past season. Over 29-year-old, 233 EPL matches, 39 goals. And of course, Cristiano Ronaldo, old as dirt, at 39 years old, still stout. Looks like a straight champion. And of course, he's joined the national team all the way back in 2003. Tons of goals, 130 goals and 211 appearances. This one should be a ton of fun to look at. We look at the lines. We take a quick look at an analysis of what we've got out there on DraftKings are the numbers that I'm quoting today. We see Portugal is plus 240. We see France sitting at plus 135. Then as far as the total is concerned, we're sitting again at 2.5, heavily juiced to the under at minus 185. Kind of makes you think about this draw. The draw sitting at plus 200. France to advance, just win the game and move on is minus 145. Let's start with Subhuman on this one here. Sub, why don't you kick us off? Talk to us about Portugal and France.
Yeah, so this is a game that I invested in. It's interesting. France, number 2 in the world. There he is, number 2 in the world in FIFA rankings. And if you watch them in the past, it's well deserved. They've got a lot of talent on this team. Kylian Mbappe, of course, first among them. But Dembele, Colomouani, tons of talent all around this squad. But they haven't looked right at all throughout this tournament. Four games, they've only scored 3 goals, or should say they scored 2 goals because one of them was an own goal. Defense has looked great. They've got a solid goalie, and they've only allowed 1 goal in those 4 games. So I am looking at that under 2 at even money. I think this is a low scoring one. Portugal on the other side, if you go back to October, November, when you're watching them in qualification games and what have you, they looked great against some of this lesser competition, looked like a really formidable squad, but they haven't looked at in this tournament. They're disjointed, out of sorts. I couldn't find my way to that Portugal side at plus money. So what I am going to do, in addition to that under 2, some people are going to hate this, but I think there's value here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that old man, Cristiano Ronaldo, the once upon a time GOAT. He's looked proper garbage, as the French say, throughout this tournament. And I don't think he's going to score a goal. So I'm going to put him in a parlay to not score a goal alongside everybody's favorite. He's got 1.5 billion Instagram followers. Kylian Mbappe to not score a goal. Kylian has looked awful since he broke his nose and he's been wearing that mask. And he's even said it that he doesn't feel like himself and whatnot. You put the 2 of them to not score a goal, and then you take the under 2.5, and that gets you plus 125. And it's the fade the public parlay. Everybody's going to be looking at those 2 at over plus, better than 2-1 to score. And they're going to say, well, you never get these numbers on Cristiano Ronaldo. You never get these numbers on Kylian Mbappe. It's over 2-1 for a reason. These guys have not looked right. It's going to be a low scoring game. They're not going to put one away. The only thing that slightly worries me here is that those are the 2 number 1 penalty takers. So if there is a PK, we're going to be in some
cash.
Yeah. That's the one thing that could perhaps ruin this. But Ronaldo to not score a goal. Cristiano Ronaldo to not score a goal. Kylian Mbappe to not score a goal under 2.5 at plus money. I'll take the stab there.
I like it. Dan, we're looking at these wily vets there, production extraordinaire, and yet they're not going to score goals here in this game. Do you agree with our guy Sub? And you tell us, how do you want to get paid when it comes to this matchup here? What's going on? What's Australia say about this matchup here between Portugal and France?
Well, like I agree with what Sub said. Mbappe and Ronaldo both have not been playing well. It's just really a lackluster tournament from both teams. 5 goals to Portugal, 3 conceded, and France. That own goal that they got against. I think that was Austria, was it, in the first game? 3-1, 1 goal conceded. So it's going to be interesting. I just think France. I think France can get this done inside the distance. In this tournament, the only quality opposition I really see Portugal played against was Turkey, and that was like I don't think 3-0 was justified. They got that last goal really late in that 3-0 game against Turkey. So I just think France are going to be too good. I reckon they can get it done inside the 90 minutes. So I'm probably going to roll with France money line at plus 140. I think that's my look. They're just going to get it done. I think they're just going to get it. Ronaldo can retire from international football and we can all be done with him, So, but yeah, that's my look. France money line.
Dan likes France money line. Lou, I know you got a lot to say about this matchup. I'm excited to hear the breakdown. What are we going to do to get paid here?
I don't know if I have a lot to say about this matchup, actually. I agree with Dan. I think France just all around is the more class team. One thing I'll add, since I had to do a costume change once you brought up Man City, I represent the boys here. So somebody who's a Manchester United fan, I feel like this is important. I see Fernando talking about how Ronaldo was scoring, didn't get along with Ten Hag. But before that, I mean, this is, to me, one of the crucial things. Bruno Fernandes is a little bit polarizing. When he came to Manchester United, the team immediately got pacier. They got better. He's like the point guard. He's running the team, making good passes. He's their penalty taker because he has that little skip step that is pretty good, pretty effective. And then Ronaldo came on. And even before Ronaldo came to United, you saw this in the World Cup. Bruno Fernandes is one of these guys where, like, he's way better when he's the man in charge. And I feel like he does not play well with Ronaldo at all. On top of, and I've seen it on the club level, and I've seen it on the international level. On top of this, Ronaldo, if you watch this last game with Ronaldo, it's in his head that he can't score. And he's actively making the team worse.
He wants every free kick. He wants every single one.
He's going to take every free kick from every angle, and he's going to try to put it on net. There's no flow on this team. It's feed Ronaldo and shoot. And he's the coach. I don't care what anybody says. He's going to play. Like, he played in the third game. He played against Georgia. He didn't really need to play in that game. He could have been subbed on, but he insists. He needs to feed his stats. And that's the thing. He's a selfish player. I don't care. I'm just not a big Ronaldo fan. He's actively hurting this team by taking too many shots. So with France, it's almost the exact opposite, where Mbappe is not doing enough. You got Rabiot shooting from like 30 feet out. You got Theo Hernandez.
Well, he's out for this game as well.
Yeah, he has a suspension. But you got Theo Hernandez is shooting. Marcus Thurman is he loves to just hit it 30 feet over the bar. Mm-hmm. They're guys that are shooting aren't their best weapons. But I still think France, they're better coach. Deschamps is just, say what you want, but the guy's got a very good track record. They're drilled well defensively. They're better organized. It feels like a 1-0 win for France. I don't even think it's going to be it's probably the worst of the 4 games in terms of fan enjoyment. But I feel like France just ekes it out. And there's a revenge factor here from the Euro finals in 2016, where France lost to Portugal in the final in a horrible game, like a 0-0 game. But so there's a little bit of a revenge factor here. But I think France, the line looked wide at first, but I think plus 140 is not a bad price for who I think just position by position doesn't have any weaknesses compared to Portugal.
You just sort of reminded me of something too. Like, lineups aren't usually set an hour until before the games, so this is something people need to be vigilant on as well. But Pepe's 41 years old. He has a very short fuse. Also, for him, for a card to be booked is plus 202 on my book. So for a little a little bit of excitement for this game, I think I'm probably going to look at a Pepe to be booked. I like that just because of it's a knockout stage game. He's playing against fast young players who are going to be that little bit quicker than him, and he's going to be using every dirty trick that he has in his book to get that advantage. So that's a little look I just sort of browsed over, but play that on your own accord. But I love playing these yellow cards in knockout games, specifically for players like him. He's known to go off and just get a stupid yellow. So I just wanted to add that in there before we moved on.
Yeah. You know, I appreciate everybody, first and foremost, rocking with us here early in the morning on America's birthday. And you guys are here contributing as well, talking about this footy battles that are going out there in Europe. Why not have the opportunity to make some money? I see Steve Gregory says Spain is vulnerable to balls over the top and pacey wingers. Fernando Mendoza says France goalkeeper, 3 or more saves is minus 115. Might be the play for Fernando. Camber Ribbons says, thank you, guys. I got to touch grass now. Great show. Catch up later. Thank you. Steve Gregory says, nobody in Portugal has the balls to do what Ten Hag did and tell Ronaldo to fuck off. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to let go of the electric fence, and that is exactly where we think Cristiano Ronaldo is in this case here. Lou with the costume change. I love it. We look at this game, and we talk a little bit about what's going on here. I think you guys nailed it on the head. It's going to be an interesting battle. We look at kind of who's going to advance, maybe a little coin flippy. My thoughts, though, as far as this thing's concerned, is I do feel like we see an under. We see a spot where, to me, the team that I'm just not a fan of, and maybe I just can't get past recency bias, but Portugal, Georgia. I don't know what the hell happened out there. Portugal throws out the dud. And again, you guys talked about Ronaldo. Maybe he's the coach. Old man time, father time is catching up to this guy. But I got a couple of props that I was looking at as far as this one's concerned here. 2 players, one that I kind of like more than the other, but Griezmann, I believe is how you say it. The first goal scorer on DraftKings is plus 700. Over there on the French side of things, plus 320 for an anytime goal scorer. But a little flyer, a little guy that I want to get involved with here out of PSG. Dembele, I believe is the name there, plus 1,000 as the first goal scorer, plus 475 anytime goal scorer. Not a ton of shots from this guy. Not the guy that goes out there and shoots, but he does sit on the field on average for 77 minutes, so he's playing plenty of time. And he averages around 55 touches on the ball. This is the kind of game where you got to kind of look beyond the initial guys here. And I heard Sub talking about kind of fading away on Ronaldo and Kylian out there, and someone's going to score. It might as well be these guys with the big price. So interesting battle as we look at this thing, but it sounds like the general consensus is lower scoring. Again, the under 2.5 is minus 185. And any last thoughts here, guys?
Yeah, make sure Dembele starts.
Yeah, I was going to say the same about Grizz. I think Dembele usually gets the start. Sometimes they'll bring on Grizz after half. He's one of their better creators, and if it's 0-0, he's kind of one of the guys they like to bring on late. I do love Dan's look at that card in the last game. I'll definitely be on that, and I love some first goal scorers. I think those are some creative looks. But as Lou said, check lineups. If your book's not going to void that first goal scorer, do be sure that they're in before you play it.
If your book grades you as a loss because a guy doesn't play, time to get a new book. Let's talk about the next matchup on the card. Now, we've moved from Friday. We had 12 p.m. Eastern, then 3 p.m. Eastern. We move over to Saturday, and a big battle as well in its own right here. England left everybody a little questioning their performance. Now, they did go out there and handle Slovakia 2-1, but I don't know if handle is the right term because previous matchup, Slovenia 0-0, Denmark, England 1-1. They did beat Serbia. Them fighting Serbs, they took them down 1-0. On the other side of things, when you look at Switzerland, recent performance, how have they made their path to where they're at today? They did take down Italy 2-0. That was a big one because prior to that, Hungary 3-1. They tied 1-1 with Scotland, and they tied 1-1 with Germany. So at first pass, I was looking at these games, and I thought, with this game here is a team that maybe Switzerland a sneaky little opportunity. I kind of didn't like what I saw with that England spot there last performance. And now we look at these numbers. We see plus 120 for England. Obviously, Harry Kane and the boys find a way to get that victory late. But the Swiss taking top scoring teams and putting them down into draw category out here at plus 280. The Swiss. Lou, we'll start with you. Is there a shot the Swiss are a live dog? Or am I just still drunk from last night?
Am I allowed to curse on the channel?
Of course, fire away. It's better.
England's a fucking mess, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, this team on paper looks great. What's crazy to me, so that they've one win in regulation in the last 5, and that was the Serbia game where, I mean, Southgate is just the worst. I am not a coach. I think all we would have to do, Mike, you just go and be like, hey, can you guys just go score? And we're doing a better job than what Gareth Southgate is trying to do here. This team is chronically known. They try to score early and then they just park the bus. They have no interest in going forward. Their defense, their back line's kind of a mess, and they really haven't faced any kind of offensive juggernaut. The market continues to overvalue England pre-tournament, game by game. It's crazy. Switzerland, on the other hand, as I mentioned pre-show, they have 2 of my least favorite players to exist in the world ever, in Shaqiri and Granit Xhaka. But Granit Xhaka playing on Leverkusen this year, it's like he's a whole transformed guy. He's a leader, plays really well. Doesn't give up a blade of grass in the field with tackles. He can take free kicks. Like, the dude's becoming like a really complete leader of that team. Switzerland is a team on the ascendancy. They're a really good tournament team too. They're not to grind out results. I have 3 bets on this game already. I feel this is a 1-1 waiting to happen. And maybe England gets lucky again in stoppage time, but this feels like a 1-1. I have Switzerland to not, like, the double chance, plus half a goal. It's minus 150. I think England could win 1-0. Yes, that's in play. But to me, I think it's either 1-1 or it's 0-0 for the most part. I think Switzerland can absolutely force this to extra time. I bet the draw at plus 220. And then a little flyer, because I know how England likes to lose. Switzerland to win on penalties at 8-1 should probably be minus 180, because that's how England likes to go out of these tournaments. And I mean, that's what happened to Italy. I had a future on Italy in that Euro, so that was excellent. But I just think Switzerland's the better drilled team. They're by default the better coach team, because everybody's a better coach team than England. And this is and then England. The last thing I'll say is it's going to be really interesting with the team selection. And I'd like to hear what Dan and Gaucho have to say about this, because he gets crucified. Southgate gets crucified for everything he does. He brings on Ivan Toney, who I'm sure bet on himself to score.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he had an anytime goal scorer prop on himself. That's what Ivan Toney does. And all of a sudden, the team looks good. So I wonder if Southgate will realize, oh, wow, we were a lot more dynamic with this guy on the field. Like, Cole Palmer can't even see the field. It's weird that he's so stubborn to make changes. We'll see if he's forced into it. But either way, I just think Switzerland is going to have an answer for everything England does. They're going to make it ugly. If Switzerland scores first, probably a 1-0 win. So I like this game a lot. And I'm going to go to the English pub, and I'm going to watch their tears will be delicious for me when they go out. Yeah. 1-1 in regulation, penalty win for Switzerland is my official prediction.
We will kick it off to Dan here momentarily, but I want to thank everybody for coming out and hanging out with us this morning. It's bright and early. You could be laying in bed. You could be maybe packing up to go to the beach or whatever it is that you do on the 4th of July, but you've chosen to spend some time with us. That means a lot. We love you guys a ton. Want to keep bringing you guys more content. So please hit that thumbs up if you have not. And you'll see across the bottom here. Follow these boys here. We got Lou coming in, the first collab with the Sports Money Gang here with Subhuman and I. Across the bottom, you can follow him there on YouTube, and Dan with Slate Bets as well. So follow these boys over there on YouTube. Make sure you catch their content as they drop in there. They're giving us their best bright and early looks as we talk about these matchups, at least early here this morning. We kind of have to wait for some final lineups to get the job done, but we see Fernando Mendoza's in the house. We see Steve Gregory making some comments out there. Says Ronaldo cries more than Jordan Peterson. And Steve says over 2 is a good buy low spot. France create a ton, and Portugal and the Jack Russells when they go behind. Fernando likes Switzerland He says, England hasn't impressed me. Them Swiss boys can attack. Art and B says, yes, Gareth Southgate is something else. Steve Gregory, Southgate pubs his iPhone on low battery mode at 99%. And Fernando Mendoza says, England goalkeeper to have 3 or more saves at plus 130. Dan, these guys kind of hit a little bit on this thing here. When it comes to England and their shitty form or lack thereof, we saw this team. They certainly battle with draws in mind, and they like to go to those extras. They're not afraid to win by penalty kicks, but certainly things are down. The past 2 years, they've scored 35 goals in international competition, but Switzerland has only allowed 15. Swiss ranked 3rd in the European Championships when it comes to scoring. They've got 7 goals in 4 matches. England has, on the other hand, only allowed 2 goals in those 4 matchups, which is good for 3rd. Do we see a high-scoring Swiss team go out there and shoot this ball? Or do we see that England wants to park the bus and keep these guys on ice? What say you, Dan?
Well, the big thing in this game is the suspension that Mark Gay is serving. He has by far been the best player in that back line for the whole tournament. And with him missing is a major blow to their lineup. The other issue they have too is their other centre back, John Stones, actually is having some knee issues as well. I've been following that really closely the last couple of days, just because he's obviously a key part in that defense. But they want to get more than 70 minutes out of him, especially if this game goes that extra 120 minutes, which their last game did. They want to be able to keep their key players on. They don't want to be bringing off a key defender to bring on someone else. So it's gonna be really important that people check the lineups an hour before to see who they do end up slotting in at that back line, because I think even Kieran Trippier is sort of has a niggling injury. He had a pretty serious injury going into this tournament that he sort of just rehabilitated. I actually saw him play here in Melbourne for a friendly game against Tottenham a few weeks before the Euros. But it's looking like Joe Gomez and Luke Shaw are going to replace those players. And if that's the case, Luke Shaw is going to be matched up against Dan Adoy, who is just on fire right now. And Luke Shaw, they used to joke about Wayne Rooney eating all the pies. Luke Shaw loves eating pies as well. So he's a tubby little left back. But he's a good player, don't get me wrong, but I just don't know if he's going to be able to keep up with this Swiss team who are just flying right now, really. I think both teams to score is probably the best look in this game. I was tempted to look at the over 2.5 just because I could see this game going either way, with a result inside the 90 minutes with both teams to score. But I just think it's a safer bet to go with the both teams to score, and you can still get that at plus 150, or that's what I got it at. But that's my main look in this game.
Dan likes goals, Gaucho. Do you think we see a situation where both teams get the ball not only on target, but past the goalkeepers? What do you think?
Yeah, this total is set super low. And I do have it 1-1, which would sneak over the total. It's funny. I talked to these guys about soccer quite a bit, but I feel like I haven't really talked this one out much. But I don't know. Lou got a hold of my notes because literally everything that I think about this game, he touched on. The first thing I was going to do was badmouth Gareth Southgate. He needs to go. I think short of winning the tournament, I think he will get fired, and I think he should get fired. He's terrible. Steve Gregory said Southgate puts his iPhone on low battery mode at 99%. That's the perfect way to describe this guy. They have the best team on paper, and they are so boring. They're terrible. I mean, it's awful. I like a first half draw in this one around a pick'em price. I think it stays cagey early. Dan touched on Ndoye. This guy, man, he's just shooting the ball like crazy. I think you take his over 1.5 shots is a pretty good price. I would maybe stay away from the shots on target because I do think it stays pretty cagey for the most part. But I think he'll fire off the ball. I mean, whether he hits the frame or not is really the question. But I'll be on his shots, and I gotta be with Switzerland. I talked to a couple sharp guys that bought in on England, like I said, they were the betting favorites in this tournament, and that was part of their rationale is you're getting England at a pretty good price, but I have to be on the Swiss side, draw no bet, and get that at plus money. I think the likelihood of a draw is pretty darn high here. And give me plus money on the Swiss side. But all that said, I do think that the draw is super likely. And I think penalties are super likely. So what I did, similar to Lou, I took a piece of the draw, and then I took each team to win on penalties. So if we get to penalties, you're bringing in a plus 800 no matter what. And I think plus 800 is a really good price in a game that I think goes to penalties like, I don't know, 40% of the time.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Interesting battle here. Now, maybe I'm poisoned because I did watch this game with the fellas backs, or I should say the last game there with England. We had a little backstage viewing party and cussing up and down this English team. And I get it. We look at kind of the roster. We look at the situation with these boys, and we see, again, Harry Kane, not quite the Cristiano Ronaldo in terms of age, but he has scored twice. Big goal in extras last time around. You mentioned Jude Bellingham, 2 goals as well. Kind of spread the ball around. So do these Swiss, though. There's not really any one standout guy. They just like to pass this ball around, and kind of everybody is more efficient and effective by keeping the ball moving and keeping the other team on their toes. Tricky spot, because when I see England and I see the way that they like to play in their international competitions, especially when we get to championship battles, it means so much for these guys. But notching a win against the English team in quarterfinal matchups in Euro 2024 would be a huge accomplishment for Switzerland. This game's got high stakes, a lot of meaning behind it, and I think because of that, we do see this aggressive play from both sides. The play that I opted to go with here, at least pre-flop, as we wait for some of these lineups to come out. How about this one? I found it on DraftKings. First half tie, full game tie, under 2.5. Now, I can't see a goal explosion, but if we do see that 1-1 spot that you guys have alluded to, this is going to pay out at plus 350. So a push in the first half, a push in the full game, and then under 2.5 in regulation at plus 350. To me, just kind of felt on the surface with the stakes being high that might be a way to go. And maybe that means that there is the draw. I guess we'll kind of wrap this one up and talk about some closing thoughts. But Lou, we'll start with you. Any chance this thing gets to a draw?
I got to do this for my guy Big Show picks. He's in the chat, so I got to do it for him. Well, it's the Big Show. That's the only reason he showed up. I know this. He knows this. We all know this. No, you guys covered on it perfectly. I like the Ndoye look a lot. Yeah, man, this is just going to be I will send pictures of the Brits being in misery after game. I will DM them to you guys, and then I will post them publicly. And the last picture will be of me in a bathtub full of money laughing at their misery.
Well, they had the video of the English fans leaving the stadium early, and then they found out they scored, and they're trying to get back into the stadium.
That was tremendous.
It just sums up an English fan perfectly. I love it.
Although with sports, if that was me leaving, I'd have been convinced they never would have scored if I stayed in my seat. I'd have been like, well, I'm the reason. Me leaving caused that.
You're welcome. I left early. I gave up on the team, and that was good enough for them to go out there and advance and move on to the next round. So very much not an English soccer fan. The Lions seem to get a lot of love. They seem to be big fan favorites across the board. And anytime I fall into a situation where I'm looking at a fan favorite like that, I just want to find a reason to get on the other side. And I think there's an opportunity, though, with this draw. Like I said, the under or the tie, under. We kind of have mixed feelings across the board with this one, but the last game that makes us whole for these quarterfinals happens to be the Netherlands and Turkey. I still can't believe people are calling it that. I will not call it that anymore this show. I refuse. But the Dutch, what a battle. That last game, they kicked the absolute shit out of Romania, busted them up 3-0, start to finish, never looked back. Wow, that was kind of the Dutch team that I remember from the Olympics and the World Cup. All of a sudden, they come out of nowhere. Previously, they lose to Austria 3-2, a high-scoring affair. They tie France 0-0, and they beat Poland 2-1 to kind of advance to this position. But again, that big battle out there, taking care of Romania. On the other side with Turkey, Austria, huge favorites the last battle around there. Everybody I know and then some was betting on Austria. Turkey didn't care. Nobody told them they were supposed to lose that game. Big 2-1 victory. They handled the Czech Republic 2-1, but 2 red cards for the Czech Republic. I don't know if Turkey's path to victory is as clear as we've talked about. They did lose to that Portugal team that I'm just not fond of, but they did beat the shit out of Georgia. So in terms of anything being up for grabs, we talked about game number 1 in Spain, Germany, Portugal and France, number 2, England and Switzerland. But now we've got this Netherlands team. And Lou, last game in the quarters, Netherlands and Turkey. Have the Dutch woken up from their slumber, or is Turkey out there looking to go out and get the underdog in this tournament? Cinderella, time to turn to a pumpkin or not? What say you?
Well, I am one of those people that had Austria in that
too.
game. It's really interesting because the Turkey side's interesting to cap because now they get back their captain, Kalhanoglu, but they have 2 midfielders out now on suspension. So I wonder if it just doesn't matter for this team. Every once in a while, you get one of these teams where it's just next guy up. And I wonder, they seem to be a well-oiled unit. They love pushing forward. I'm not convinced of their defense and at all. Austria, I mean, look, Austria is very unlucky that they only got 1 goal. That save at the end that's a save of the tournament. I don't really care what happens going forward. That's a bigger save than any of the penalty kick saves I saw. That was the game. Austria's a little unlucky, and then the field got absolutely terrible. You saw people slipping near the end, but it was just so fun. I've never had more fun losing a bet than at least watching the last 15 minutes of that game. It was tremendous, especially after some of the duds we've had this last couple of days. It was nice to see an exciting game. Netherlands, tons of talent offensively. Depay looks like he's in form with set pieces, not scoring as much, but becoming really, set pieces have been excellent. His delivery's been excellent. Gakpo is in tremendous shape. But their goalkeeper, I really have some reservations about the back line and the goalie of Netherlands. He's young. He's untested. Turkey's good on counters. I think this is your craziest high-scoring game of the week. I gave out a bet that I liked. I'm just going to go for the super plus money here on a crazy flyer.
I like it.
And that I think Turkey's team total of 1.5 at plus 280, plus 300 range is insanity. I think they could score 2 and still get blown out. I think Netherlands could run up the score on them. That's conceivable here. But I don't know how Turkey doesn't score. And the only way that this team total at least looks completely dead is a red card, or if Turkey's winning 1-0 and parking the bus. And that's such a low percentage outcome here with these 2 teams. So I like goals, like Steve Gregory said. But I want the big plus money on this one. I want to end you asked me how I want to get paid. This is how I want to fucking get paid. I want Turkey to score 2 goals at 3-1 odds. I don't want to pick a side here, man. I'm going to how do you not root for Turkey? If you don't have a side, if you're a neutral, let's get a story, man. Hey, man, one of these 4 teams, England, Switzerland, Turkey, or the Netherlands, is going to be in the final. Give me some chaos, man. Give me Switzerland, Turkey in the semis, man. Let's get some chaos here.
Mm-hmm.
That would indeed be chaos. The books wouldn't know what to do with themselves.
Be awesome.
When you look at this thing on the surface level right now, big dogs are Turkey here at plus 450. So chaos indeed. I mean, you're looking at draw no bet for Turkey at plus 300. Turkey to advance is plus 260. Dan, do we see chaos? How does this one break down in your opinion?
Yeah, so, in terms of a gap in levels, this is the biggest gap. There's 35 spots in the world rankings between these 2 teams. It's the biggest gap between any matchup in these quarterfinals. And like I said, I think it's going to be a goal fest as well. I agree with Lou. The over 2.5 is minus 141 for over 2.5 in this game. So, obviously they're expecting Turkey to score. I just think that this game is just going to be goals. I love Big Show brought it up in the chat with the golden boot. My main play for this game is Cody Gakpo goal or assist at plus 110. He's had 3 goals so far in the tournament. He's assisted once. So he's always involved. I don't see him coming off either, which when you take these markets, you don't want to you want to avoid players that are going to get pulled out of that rotation because you want to maximize every minute of that game. So I think Cody Gapco, it covers him setting up something for Depay. I just love that. I also like the over corners in this game. In all of Turkey's games, they're averaging 6.2 corners a game, and we've got the Netherlands averaging 6.8. But I just see this pace just really being pushed on both ends, and I can see there being, the over 9.5. I got that at -125. But if you wanted to be a bit sneaky with it, you could maybe bump that up to 10.5, get the alternate corners for the plus money. But yeah, those are my main looks in those games. Another big key thing to keep in mind is that the last couple times these teams have played each other, it's been really up and down. I don't really like going too deep into head-to-heads in international games because, there can sometimes be years between. Like there was 9 years from a game in 2015 where Turkey won 3-0. It's just too far away for me. But in 2021 in the UEFA Nations League, Turkey beat them 4-2 away as well. But then following that game, the Netherlands beat them 6-1. So it's like you can't really, take those too much for granted. This is a bigger stage. I feel like that UEFA Nations League was a bit of a joke, to be honest, when they did it. But yeah, I just see Cody Gapco goal or assist here at +110. And that's how I'll be moving on that game.
I like it. We got a little player prop action out there, Gaucho. I know you're a guy that likes to get into the action here. Player props, sides, totals, draws, you name it. But Netherlands and Turkey, how are you getting paid in this game?
Yeah, we're all aligning real well here. This one does scream goals. I split a unit between the both teams to score on the one hand and the over 2.5 on the other. I think the really nice prices for a game like this. Dan's I think completely on track with Gakpo to score or assist. Again, really nice price there. And to go along with Gakpo, I did take Gakpo golden boot at 5-1. He's already in the running. And like we've been talking, nice. This one screams goals. He could easily have 1 or 2. Who knows? If they get through, he might be the leader at that point. And lose look is super creative there. +300. I think Netherlands is vulnerable. They're clearly the better side, but it doesn't mean that they can't get scored on and go on to win the game. 3-2, 4-2. Who knows? If anybody wanted to ladder this game, I wouldn't talk them off that. And, corners. Yeah, I'm glad Dan brought that up. Netherlands had 10 corners in the first half of their last game against Romania. It's insane. If they ever should go down, if Turkey goes and slots one in the first minute, as they did in their last fixture, immediately go to that Netherlands, first half over corners and maybe full game over corners because they're going to be attacking like crazy after that. And they're a team that they generate a lot. They'll get it out to the slot, out to the corner, and start banging them in, and you'll get plenty of deflections. They take a ton of shots, so you'll see plenty of deflections off of that. These might not be, for my money, the best teams in the tournament, but this game just screams just fun. It's gonna be one to watch. It's gonna be up and down, back and forth. Got to favor Netherlands, but I'm not gonna mess around with this side because I want to root for Turkey. And I hope they find a way to somehow pull this off. Look for an action-packed one here.
Can I give a same game bet that we all talked about? This is just a combination of what all three of us said.
Give away, my guy. Let's go. We're trying to get this cash here.
I'm gonna 1,000,000% have to probably play this. I'm gonna have to see what I can do for. I might have to do it separately with goal and assist for Gakpo, but Cody Gakpo to score over 10.5 corners, over 3.5 goals, and over 1.5 goals by Turkey is +2,200. And I don't hate this, and I'm going to bet it probably now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like
a big same game parlay.
I mean, if you know anything about my content, I don't get excited for a +150 bet. I get out of bed for a plus 2,200 bet. That'll get me out of bed.
I like it.
That'll get you out of anything, I think.
That'll get me out of bed.
He won't hit the snooze button for plus 150, but at plus 2,200, he's running laps around the house. Ready to go. I love it. I love the opportunity. You guys talked about this one. It sounds like the makings of a real fun battle and nice way to kind of close things off. The way these matchups kind of start here, it's a lot of uncertainty and it's a funnel that just kind of works into something that should be a nice little fireworks display to close it off. The fact that you guys think there's going to be goals, the fact that you kind of think, hey, Turkey can go out there and make something happen, led me to some of these spots that I want to get involved with here. I do think this is kind of coin flippy as far as the at least the opening in this game. But how about this one, guys? Hear me out. Why can't Turkey come out there and shock the world early and then the Dutch wake up and try to figure shit out? Turkey has scored the first goals around 2-1, plus 200. But the Netherlands to win from behind at plus 600 is a nice little prop bet that I want to get involved with there. I can see Turkey coming out. It's going to be fun. It's just a little kind of flyer bet out there. But at 6-1, why not get these guys to come back from behind out there? Turkey kind of smacks them in the mouth early. You know, a goal in the first 30 minutes is priced around plus 200 as well. So opportunities galore to see some goals. If you like those opportunities, why not take the shot? Obviously, we've got 4 games. That'll be the 4th of the battles in these quarters. But
hey, Mike, Turkey scored like 30 seconds last game. So,
right.
I mean, it's very, very live. First set piece scored. So why not?
You know, and you look at the 2-1 at the Turkey to score first. I just think these guys can come out sharp. They come out fast. They come out firing. It's a huge game for both these teams. But look, the Dutch have got the experience. They're not going to panic. They're going to kind of go out there and play some chess. They're going to want to see how things kind of unfold. And that's where I think Turkey can kind of slap them in the face with the open palm. Just give them a little whack. And then that kind of slaps them to reality and they go out there and they fire. So take a little flyer on that one there. I love the same game parlay. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And can't wait to see what this game's going to look like. We got 4 big games. Lots of fun here starting tomorrow at 12 p.m. And lots of fun today, boys. Hey, I'll shoot it around the horn. I don't know if anybody has it. We didn't talk about it in advance, but it is America's birthday. And what do we know about America's birthday? They got a hot dog eating contest. Does anybody have a favorite for the hot dog eating contest? Because I sure do.
I'm protesting without Chestnut. I protest the event.
No Joey Chestnut. Dan, down under, do they eat hot dogs in a gluttonous pace?
Joey Chestnut is the ambassador for this sport. It's a travesty that he's not competing, and I will not be watching. It's un-American. It's un-Australian to not let him compete. I'm not happy about it, but I'll ride with Mike, whatever he's got.
Sub, are you going to eat any hot dogs on the 4th of July?
No, I am also joining the protest. You know, I'm not one to cross the picket line like some scab, but yeah, I'll tail. Let's hear it.
I will lay it on you, boys. I got the Sharp Steam Report. Can you believe it? They give you Steam reports on the fucking hot dog eating contest. It's disgusting. But it is 5 for 5. In the last 5 years, the Steam Report has been dialed in. Get your pens and pencils.
God
Cliff
damn it.
Yang's ready. He says the 10-unit play on the hot dog eating contest. Looked at James Webb. He's priced at plus 145 to eat more hot dogs than anybody else. James Webb at plus 145. Why not go out there? Silent Rob says steamed buns. They are steamed buns, I believe, as well.
I never should have come on this show because now I'm going to bet this stupid thing. And God damn it.
We appreciate you guys all rocking with us, man. This is the kind of stuff that we want to do more of collectively. I love the collab. I love getting Lou involved here for the first time. We've seen him in the chat supporting the show. And he's got his own show, you guys. Both Lou on the bottom out there, and we'll give these guys the opportunity to shout out, and Dan Doherty doing their things on YouTube. We had to bring in some of the best soccer minds to give you guys these looks, to get these books cooked. And it means a ton that all of you guys are rocking with us. So we'll go around the horn. We'll put a bow on the show here. And we'll start with Lou. Tell them what's going on. Tell them where they can find you. And my guy, thank you for being a part of what we did today.
Thanks for having me, man. I had a great time with you guys. I'm still sweating this Lloyd Harris bet. They're in the 5th set on serve, so I'm losing my mind over this. It's funny that you have the MMA Engine channel on the bottom because actually moving homes next week. Whole new project with my partner, Monk Maddox, and I, ramping up not just the MMA content, but doing a lot more on the comedy side. I got some really weird ideas coming up that I don't even want to mention on air. One of them is me watching body cam videos of cops, like the legendary Jacob Bird in Arkansas, who just pits fuckers like it's his job. It's amazing. We have a couple new shows debuting Monday. Fight Factor with my guy Dogfather. Tuesday, it's called White Whale. It's the worst bets we've ever made. That will be way more on the fun side. And as soon as EPL season starts up, I am bringing back that content, and I would be very interested in working with all three of you guys. Whatever availability you have, maybe rotating channels.
Sure.
I am all for doing a lot of EPL content. I love it. It's my favorite thing. 7:30 in the morning on a Saturday. Let's fucking go with bets.
Hell yeah, Lou. I'm looking forward to it. Make sure you guys follow Lou and everything that he's doing. A lot of fun. Very knowledgeable when it comes to not just footy, but MMA and all things in world of sports. So check our guy Lou out. Make sure you stay tuned for what he's got going on out there as he moves homes. Hopefully he'll update his YouTube profile so I can get the right link in there the next time. And of course, blessed with our guy from down under. He's got the dingoes. He's ready to roll here. That's my bad Australian accent, but I love Dan Doherty. And super knowledgeable guy when it comes to footy action. Popped off. He got a new channel out there, Slate Bets, and he's been rolling live for these Euros. He's been partnering up Copa action here. The guy's sitting out there all night long, staying up till 5 a.m. to give you guys the best looks, 5 a.m. his time. Dan, tell him what's cooking, my guy.
Yeah, I just saw Steve Gregory in the chat was just asking, is Depay on the penalties? I went through and had a look at all of the Netherlands games, and it looks like the two penalty takers they've recently used have been Virgil van Dijk, which is interesting. That was in their qualification game against Greece, and that was like a last-minute penalty, which was like, in injury time. So that's probably why he took that, because I'm guessing Gatko or some of their other forwards would have been off. But Gatko did take a penalty and did get it in against Ireland in the qualification game as well. So if he's on, he'll probably take it. It could be between him and Depay, depending on what sort of dynamic they have in that game. But I just wanted to answer that, Mike, sorry, real quickly before we moved on. But yeah, if you, I've started up Slate Bets. I'll whack it there. It's in the chat. We'll be live streaming for the Argentina-Ecuador game for Copa America. So tune in for that one a little bit later. I've got to get some beauty sleep because it's 12:30 a.m. here right now. So I've got to get some beauty sleep. But thanks for having me on, Mike, as well. Lou, absolute pleasure. And Sub, pleasure as always. Jeff, if he was here, he'd know I'd say the same thing. But he's a busy man. So, but yeah, thanks for having me, Mike. I appreciate it.
Lots of fun. Look for the live stream for the Copas tonight. Maybe we'll all get back together with a cocktail and celebrate all things that are South American soccer, I guess, here. But Subhuman Gaucho, my guy, my brother from another mother out there, rocking and rolling. He's given us the outdoor forestry shop, but he was contributing today like he always does, giving you guys ways to get paid. And Subhuman Gaucho, appreciate you coming on. Tell us what's happening, my guy.
Yeah, well, this was great, guys. Really glad we did it. It's got me all the more excited for these games. Gonna be great. And yeah, we gotta do this more often. Luke talked about EPL and whatnot coming up here in another 5 weeks or so. Maybe it's more like 6 or 7. But
a little bit longer, but that's all right.
Yeah. But yeah, at any rate, we got to do this again. It's been awesome. And I got to mention it because Dan didn't, but Dan's going to be going live doing some Copa action. So make sure you subscribe to his channel at Slate Bets. That's going to be a good time. Dan is super sharp, as you all know. So, he's one you're going to want to be watching the game with if you can.
Yeah, I really like to get out because it's like an hour before the game. I like to go through the lineups. If you jump in the show early, we usually put a few plays on to roll with early. I like it as using it a way to get people into the stream. I'll give out my plays, but if you really want the plays, you got to come and watch live. That's the way to do it. Get the watch along going on. So
we have dominated any live stream that we go on there. That's the best way to attack these books. You guys do the research up front. Then you kind of watch how the game unfolds, and we take those, calculated, decisions, but they're informed decisions that we're making out there when we invest our cash, and lots of fun. So this was great, you guys. We are absolutely going to do more of this. We appreciate all you guys taking the time to get up this morning, rock with us, but more importantly, the ability to collab and branch out and get all these channels together to give you guys some content that hopefully gets us all paid is what makes it all worthwhile. So everybody rocking out there, we appreciate all you guys. We need you guys to hit the thumbs up button, and we're going to post this out there. So you'll have the ability to kind of go back and listen to the breakdowns on each of these games. Again, Friday and Saturday. So there's plenty of time for this content to sit out there and guys go back and check out the plays and the looks. But what we'd ask you to do is take the time not just to hit the thumbs up on the video, put your favorite play of all the games, all 4 of the matchups, put it in the comments on the video itself. It helps us crack this algorithm for YouTube. The comments, the interaction on the videos after they're released really help us grow and promote what we're trying to do. So collectively, the posse here, shout out to Lou, shout out to Dan, Subhuman Gaucho, MMA Jeff's back there. I'm sure he's doing something with MMA. Actually, maybe we don't want to know. But all you guys in the chat, Dirty Reg, Steve Gregory, Julian Cesario, my guy, Stir and Company, Fernando Mendoza, Big Scott 510, Deer Slayer Skis, Silent Rob, JW, Cliff Yang, Big Show Picks in the house. We saw our guy Razor Sharp out there. We love you guys, and we appreciate you taking the time to listen to us today. Hopefully everybody has a beautiful, glorious 4th of July. Make sure you use extended lighters. Keep your fingers intact. You're going to need that to click the buttons to get the cash from the bookies. Happy birthday, America. Make sure you get that hot dog eating contest. And we appreciate and love all you guys. Stay tuned for more content. Follow the boys, and we'll see everybody up here real soon. Have a great 4th of July, everybody.